Good morning. This is the assignment for February 29th. It's the Math Aids assignment that's listed right here, assignment 3 and 4. It's on Google Classroom, and I also provided you with the paper pencil, so it'll say 3 and 4. On assignment 1 and 2, we talked about identifying the slope. I have all of my papers here if you want to see. This was assignment 1. We found the slope only. This one, we found it on a graph. And all you had to do was identify the slope. Now we are finding the slope here, and we are also finding the y-intercept, which is at the end. Remember, my equation says y equals slope times x plus b. B is the y-intercept. I will show you real quick. I flipped the page. When I have a y-intercept, this is where my line crosses through my graph. So we'll go step by step through this. I highlighted my slope. Remember, slope is rise over run. Here's my slope in blue, and I put it here. I have a negative, so I made sure I put my negative. Please write clearly. Please write dark so that I can see them when you send them in. If you're not doing a paper pencil, you're doing it on Google Classroom, please submit your work via that way. So before x is always my slope. Please always make it a fraction. This was a 3, so I put it over a 1. This is a 5, so I'm going to put it over a 1. Negative 5 over 1. And then my y-intercept is in pink, so I'm going to put it here at the end. Please complete this page. As you see, I recorded and made a mistake. I didn't push the record button. I had the camera, so I had walked through the page already. So you can borrow some of my answers on here. Pause the video. I'm going to page 4. For page 4, we went through and we highlighted our slope right away. Slopes are in pink. If it's not a fraction, put it over a 1. If it has a negative, make sure you're putting it on the line. Here also, negative 5 over 1 for my slope. Slopes are in pink on this page. Y-intercepts, which would go here, are in yellow. If it says negative 3, please put negative 3 because that's important. I graphed this first one up here. The positive 4 says this is where my line crosses through my y-axis. Remember, this is x and this is y. So I'm going to find positive 4. I went 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot, and then for my rise over run, I'm going to make dots so that I can connect the dots and make a line. So my rise is rise 1, run 2. So I went rise 1, run 2. I can go like this. Rise 1, run 2. Now, in order, because I ran out of graph, I can do the opposite, but to both numbers, because two negatives make a positive, right? So I can go down 1, left 2, because I put negative. So I can do negative 1, negative 2, okay, for my graphing purpose. Or I could put it here, negative 1, negative 2. As you notice, I have 2 negatives, not 1. 2 negatives make a positive. So I graphed rise 1, run 2 to the right, down 1, left 2, to be able to make 2 dots. So I made 2 dots, and I got a little sticky note. You can get the edge of a book if you have a ruler or a piece of paper, and go ahead and draw your line right through there. So all of these letters together, this slope-intercept equation, graphs a really cool line. You will be continuing to do all this work next year in high school. I will graph a couple with you. I want you to keep trying the rest, and then submit your work to me. This one says I start at negative 2. So I'm going to come down here on my y-axis because below 0 is 2. So I'm going to go negative 2. Now, my slope says rise 1, run 4. So I'm going to rise 1, run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to run out of graph to go this way, so I have to do negative 1, negative 4. Okay, so I'm going to go down 1, left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I have this graph here, and I'm going to use my ruler, my sticky note, and I'm going to graph it right here, like that. Okay, and then that's what it should look like. Please be clear and neat. It's important, because if you just scribble on here, I can't read it, and I can't give you credit. This one, so I went through and pretend that I put all of my numbers in here first so that it looks nice and clean. and then I go back and graph. If all you can get through is 4, take a break and finish the other 5, 6, 7, 8 tomorrow. Pace yourself and make sure you get it done. This one is positive 2, so I'm going to start my graph at positive 2. Okay, so positive 2. This one's negative 3. This one's negative 3. This one's going to start at negative 2. This one's going to start at negative 5. And this one's going to start at negative 3. Okay, go ahead and do that and fill those in. You can pause the video to catch up. Here, this is a negative 2. I want it to be a fraction, so make sure you put negative 2 over 1. This one is 7/4. This one is negative 5 over 1 because we want it to be a fraction. This one's negative 2/3. This one's 8/3. And this one's negative 4/9. So you need to follow along because it gets a little tricky. This one is saying I have a negative. I only have one negative. So one of them is going to be negative and one's going to be positive. And I'll show you as we graph. I can maybe zoom in a little bit for you. Let's see. So I have rise 2, run 1, but I'm going to go negative rise, run 1. So I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, run 1. So one has to be negative, one has to be positive. So down 2, run 1. Okay, now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go rise 2, left 1. So rise 2, left 1. So my graph, it's going to look different, okay? My graph's going to look like this. This is called a negative slope. It's going down. This one's going up. Pretend you're at Cedar Point and you're going up the ride. This one, you're going down the ride. So that's a negative slope. So when you see a negative slope, always check that your line is going down. I know it's confusing me because up here I made 2 negatives to use it on the graph, but only one is negative there. Pick one, move it around so that you can go have enough room on your graph. I'm going to do one more here because it's a negative slope and it's right on my screen. I'm going to find negative 3 on my graph, put it there. I'm going to go negative 5, positive 1. Oh, I can't. So I just have to go positive 5, negative 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1 would be here. I also cannot go positive 5 because I run out of graph. So what ultimately is going to happen, I'm just going to have to use these 2 dots to make my graph. And look, it's going to be a negative slope. That's a pretty steep slope. So 5 is a steep slope compared to 2. Okay, so my rate of change or my slope, the bigger the number, the steeper it is. Okay, that's how we can double check our work to make sure we're doing it correctly. I will do another one for you just so that you're not all on your own on this new work. I'm proud of you for working. Okay, negative 3. I'm going to find negative 3 and I'm going to rise. This is positive, so my slope will automatically be going up. This is rise 7, run 4. So rise 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. I'm not going to have enough room to draw any more dots on there because my graph's kind of small, but I can still connect these. And guess what? It's a positive slope and my slope's going up, okay? It's going up just like the ride at the roller coaster park. This one here, we are going to graph. We're going to first start with our y-intercept. It crosses at negative 2. Then I'm going to have a negative slope, so it's going to be going down. And then I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, and then my 3 is going to be positive, so I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to rise 2, 1, 2, and I have to go left 3 because it's negative. 1, 2, 3. If you want me to show you, I can do it like this. Negative 2 over 3 or 2 over negative 3. So either way you go, your negative sign is going to stick to one of the 2 of them. So now I have 3 dots, and it looks like my slope is going down. I'm going to draw my line to connect it. and my slope is going down. Okay, negative slope, a decline slope. We have 2 more on the bottom, and I'm going to walk you through all of it. So like I said, if it's too much and you can't do it all at once, take a break, come back tomorrow, come back after lunch. We have -5. I'm going to find -5. Oh man, it's way down here. Now I have a slope. It says rise 8, run 3. So rise 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Run 3. 1, 2, 3. All I'm going to be able to fit on my graph is 2 points here. It should be a positive slope, so it should be going up. Okay, positive slope's going up, and it is. It's right there. So that's what that graph looks like. Go slow, count. You can scribble on there as long as I can see your line a lot darker than everything else. This one here, number 8, we are going to find my y-intercept first, my -3. It's right here. My slope, so it's going to be -4/9 or 4/-9. Let's see which way we can go first. I'm going to probably not be able to go down, so let's not use this one yet. Let's rise 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one is not going to work. They kind of messed that up for us. We can skip that one. Okay, we'll just scribble that one right out. They didn't think that one through when they made that question. So you are completed. Make sure all your answers are filled in and your graph is done. Please submit that to me. So proud of you and your hard work and dedication.